It's no secret that Doctor Who has always been at the forefront of tackling massive, real-world issues. For decades, the Doctor has jetted across time and space, standing up for what's right, and a lot of the time, that means protecting our planet. From the classic battles against monstrous polluters in 1973's The Green Death to the chilling, timely warnings of 2020's Orphan 55, this show has been shining a light on environmental themes for as long as we can remember. But here's the thing, it's not just the stories on screen that are making a difference. As it turns out, the commitment to sustainability is just as strong behind the scenes as it is in the scripts. In fact, a passionate movement is sweeping through the production, aiming to make every season of Doctor Who a little bit greener. We sat down with Alexander Devrient, the brilliant actor who plays Colonel Abraham on the show, to get the scoop on what it's really like to be part of a set that is actively fighting climate change. The silent revolution on set. You might think that a big-budget sci-fi show would have a massive carbon footprint, but Alexander tells a different story. The team behind Doctor Who has been working tirelessly to reduce their environmental impact, with a huge reduction in their carbon footprint from season 14 to season 15. The goal? To do it again for the new spin-off, The War Between the Land and the Sea. For Alexander, this effort is part of a larger movement called Green Rider, which is all about empowering actors to use their influence to create a more sustainable TV and film industry. He passionately believes in the power of collective action, and he says he felt that very spirit on the Doctor Who set. He explained how even the smallest changes added up to a big impact. Train travel was a huge thing, he shared. We would all come in with trains. We would travel back with trains and share cars. They also used lots of electric vehicles and made a conscious effort to go paperless, using iPads and phones for their scripts. Lots of these little things, he continued, bringing your own water bottles, having labeled water bottles that you're reusing. And cutlery, of course, it's recyclable plates and cutlery. It's all about a slight shift in behavior, a slight shift in attitude, and a lot of awareness. It's a powerful reminder that every little bit truly helps. More than a set, it's a sustainable masterpiece. One of the biggest and most creative sustainability efforts happens with the sets themselves. The team is incredibly skilled at reusing and transforming materials, ensuring nothing goes to waste. The Doctor Who sets that you see, sometimes they get reused, and then they get transformed and become something else, which is also super cool, Alexander told us. He gave a great example, thinking about the Unit HG, where he spends a lot of his time. Specifically thinking about Unit, for example, where I spent a lot of my time, just seeing how often they manage to transform Unit into all kinds of different things. I walked in after a couple of days of the battle scene, and it was just completely destroyed. And then I walked in another day, and it was just back to how it used to be. And then it became a 50s set or a 60s set. They're really skilled at reusing sets, which I think is amazing. A call to action before the cameras even roll. The commitment to a greener production isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a core part of the show's identity. In fact, before shooting began on the new spin-off, the cast was given a full-on workshop about sustainability. We actually had a workshop. It was about an hour and a half before we started shooting the spin-off, Alexander recalled. A gentleman came and he showed us how they were going to reduce the carbon footprint shooting on the war between the land and the sea. This was especially important given the themes of the show itself. While Alexander couldn't give away any spoilers, he did reveal that the new series goes heavily into the way that we treat our planet and the consequences that it can have if we don't treat it right. He added that they were showing what happened in previous seasons, what the carbon footprint was like, and how they had already made huge strides. For the new spin-off, they wanted to lower it again, creating a show that not only preaches a sustainable message but lives it. The power of the individual and the collective. Alexander has been passionate about sustainability for a long time, and he's quick to point out that nobody is perfect. He's had to travel for work, which means sometimes flying, but he also highlights a critical point. The responsibility isn't just on individuals. This whole concept came about because a big company popularized this term in the early 2000s, carbon footprint, he explained. It's the idea that everybody has to look at themselves and their responsibility. And they put the onus back on us, that it's our